Thank you for joining today. Just going to give it a few more minutes before we kick off. Just let a few more people get in. As we're waiting, it'd be good to hear how many people have got their Christmas tree up already. So I only asked because we were up last night putting up our Christmas tree. So while we're waiting, good to hear have people got their Christmas trees up already, or are they a little bit late this year? How about you, Matt? You got yours?
Yeah, my mum's got multiple up already. I went over a weekend and came back to a grotto.
A grotto. Susie's got hers up. Brilliant. Oh, look at this. Everyone's on the bandwagon. Previous years it would have been more like the 15th, but this year we've committed to get it up early.
15th December.
Usually, by the time we get around to it, it's usually the last thing we do. We do the other bits first. So, we were driving around houses near us, and from like maybe the 20th of November, trees were up. So,
Kind of early.
people working it.
Inflatable Santa out from some people.
There we go. Up already. Cool. Okay, let's get started. We're about a minute in, so I can see people are coming in, which is great. So thank you everybody for joining today. As you are already aware, today we're really kind of focused on SEO and how AI is affecting it for your website and your membership growth. So very quick intro, Copperbay Digital. We are the member growth agency. We've been supporting organizations like yours in kind of membership and customer growth since 2008. So I've been doing this for quite a long time now. And our core mission as an organization is to help 10 million members realize a benefit of their membership by 2034. And we do that by supporting you as organizations to help your members and get more on board and just increase that engagement. So that's kind of our primary focus. Today, we have Madeline on the call. Madeline's one of our DM executives and a real SEO expert and really been looking into and working on the AI side of SEO as well over the last kind of 6+ months. So yeah, really kind of lots of insight hopefully here today. And you got myself, Chris, as the digital lead and owner of Copperbay. Before we get into the kind of webinar side of things and the presentation, just to kind of remind everyone that in the top right-hand corner, you have the option of asking questions. Asking questions can be a really valuable way for you to get the most valuable value out of this webinar. So please feel free to go in there, drop in the questions throughout the presentation, and we will kind of collect those and ask and answer those at the end. And you can also upvote and downvote other people's questions as well if something resonates. So yeah, please make use of that as we go through. There's a lot of content here today, so do it as you go, and then we will get them answered at the end. So thank you very much. Today we're going to cover kind of is SEO dying? I guess obviously one of the kind of key. There's lots of kind of comments around the future of SEO. So we want to talk about that, how AI is impacting SEO as a whole, how search behavior affects AI usage, and tracking AI presence. Tracking is obviously a really key part of any SEO strategy. And then something a bit kind of on the horizon about how ChatGPT wants to replace your website. I think that's a really important topic to discover regards to kind of the future of your website, and then the future of how AI will affect SEO. And then something we wanted to kind of focus on as well, to give some practical to walk away with, is what are those first steps that you can take to kick off your new AI SEO strategy. Before we get going, I'd love to kick off a quick poll just to ask, how important do you think your public-facing website will be for your organization in the next 5 years? And I mean the public side, not the bit where the portal where the members log in, but how important? Do you think it's going to be less important? Do you think AI is just going to eat everything up and the actual website's not going to be as important? Is it about the same? So just about the same amount of kind of level? Or do you think it's going to be more important in the future? So it'd be good to see some results. So far, about most people are thinking about the same, which is good, which is positive, because we think they're quite important now. Some more important, which is good. No one for less important yet, which means we've got the right people on the call, which is good. So yeah, so thank you very much. I'm going to give our answer to this at the end as well. Oh, we have got one less important. There we go. So someone sneaked in. Thank you. Cool. Okay, about 66%, about the same, 22% more important, and then 11% is around less important. So thank you. So Madeline's now going to go into that kind of first section around what is SEO and is it dying? So over to you, Madeline.
Yeah, so I thought it's probably a good place to start kind of before we look into the AI things, actually what is SEO? So if you have next slide, please, Chris. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. So it's a process of improving websites' visibility in organic search results. So this differs from PPC, which is a paid strategy. It focuses on making content easier for search engines to understand. So this can be done through keywords or clear writing and structuring, matching user intent with relevant pages. So it's really good about matching what you're writing with what the search queries are from the users, increasing the quality and volume of traffic, and then improving rankings without paying for ads. So as I said, this is an organic strategy, so you're not putting money behind it, unlike PPC. So it's a big question recently as to whether SEO in itself is still important, even ignoring the fact of AI. But it is still important, and this is because it's one of the main ways people can discover brands, services, and answers. It can convert strongly, and it can really help users who are looking for solutions and for more information rather than generally just searching. They provide long-term compounding value, which is unlike paid ads. So this is something where you can, it's longer term. So PPC, you do something, you put money to a campaign, you see results immediately, whereas SEO is a bit more of a longer game. You have to optimize over time, keep refreshing it, and you can see the benefits throughout that time period. So users will trust top ranking websites. So if you're ranking at the top of the search results page, you'll be at the top, and users will therefore be more likely to click on your page anyway. And then businesses still rely on Google and search engines as key traffic sources, even though AI is becoming more popular. So the answer is no, SEO is not dying. As you can see with our little caterpillar, traditional SEO, which is, you know, your keywords, your backlinks, and that sort of methodology is still relevant, but it's not the only aspect of SEO now. It's now evolving into, you've got your AI aspect of it, which is not completely replacing SEO. It's also becoming a component of it for the future. It's also need to consider more so user experience. This will link between AI and SEO as you're making your strategy, and then aligning with user behavior. So we'll look into this a little bit later on about how user behavior will be changing how AI develops further. And then quality content will always be the foundation of SEO, and this won't change even as it evolves further. And these combined will help to sustainable organic growth. So what this means for SEO, so basically it means that you need to focus on quality and user experience. So as I said, user experience will always be at the forefront of SEO. It's really important that your content is clear and it's easy to understand, but it's also well linked to other pages. So you kind of want to make it the best experience for a user. So if they go into one of your pages and you're linking off somewhere else, they can find their answer without having to leave your site. And then adaptation to AI. This is something we'll look at a little bit later on as well, kind of about how we need to be considering the changes to SEO to meet how AI is developing, but it's not yet fully developed. But we're aware of the conversation. It's kind of making a start now. Which brings us to the main point of how SEO is not dying. It's more so evolving. SEO as a strategy won't become extinct. It will evolve further as time goes on. And it will remain with the foundational principles, which is, like I said, you've got your content and your linking. Those remain important, and they won't need to be, you don't need to stop doing that. If anything, it's quite important you continue to do that, because if you've got strong SEO, it'll help you for ranking in AI as well as search engines. And then the final point is diversification. So it is important now to also consider multiple channels, so not just search engines. So like, for example, like I'm Gen Z, and if I want to find something out, I might be looking on TikTok or Instagram rather than on Google. So it's quite important to consider your social organic channels and other social medias rather than just search engines now. So it's important to consider all channels, not just Google. So how is AI predicted to impact SEO? So will it impact SEO? And the answer to this is yes. You already can see changes in this. So for example, the generative snippets reduce clicks. So when you search for something on Google, you might notice now you get a little AI overview appear at the top of the page. This will impact SEO because you're less likely to be able to click through to your site, but you likely still get impressions. So it's not necessarily a negative thing. It's just a new thing. So people are still seeing your content, they don't have to go through all the way to your site to get the answers they need. This has fully been facilitated by AI and the new overviews. And then you might be aware of this acronym from Google, which is EAT. This is experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So this is how Google ranks your content for SEO. These will still be relevant for when it's being ranked for AI. Google will still consider your SEO position and ranking, and it will use those pillars to score your content and see if it's worthy to be cited by the AI. The thing is with getting your content to appear for AI, it's making it seem it's very trustworthy. It's one of the main aspects of it. You want Google to think that you're not just adding loads of waffle and it's just not what it needs. It needs to be the quickest path to the answer you want to give it to. So that kind of links on to the next point of focusing on topic completeness. It's showing that you have complete authority over a subject. You've got complete understanding to a depth. You're not just adding in random words to try and make out like you know more than you do. Google will kind of see through that if you're not kind of getting to your point, and you won't be ranked as highly for that. And then technical SEO powers for AI indexing. So a clear site structure and schema markup are essential for AI. This is especially true for if you're having FAQs in your page, which will help you with AI ranking. Having that schema markup in your code will help Google to quickly find it on your page, and it will help you to be ranked for AI in a quicker way. So the next slide, please. So this comes into AEO and GEO. So you might have heard about these before. They're becoming quite buzzwords. I've seen a lot about it on LinkedIn, a lot of newsletters lately. It's not particularly clear, I think, to people what they are and the differences between them. So we thought we'd cover it now so you kind of have a bit more of an understanding of them, and it'll be more helpful for you going forward. Like I said, because this is all very new, what it means now and what I'm saying now might not even be relevant in 3-4 months' time. It might develop even further. It's likely to, but it's kind of where we're at this point in time. So AEO is answer engine optimization. So this is when you're focusing on getting featured in direct answers. So you're trying to get featured in snippets, in voice searches, and knowledge panels. So your goal is to provide the single definitive answer to a user's query. So you're trying to provide the exact answer that Google can then put into like the AI overview and that sort of thing. Whereas GEO is generative engine optimization. Your focus is becoming a trusted source for AI models. So you've got your ChatGPT, Gemini, SGE, which are your search generative engines, which is like the AI overviews. So the goal of this one is to have your content synthesized and cited. So your goal for GEO is to have strong authority and to be trusted as a source, whereas AEO is to have a trusted answer to providing it instead for a user's query. So as you can see, AEO is a component of GEO, so they're not completely separate. They do work in tandem with each other. There's a bit of an overlap, so it's not like explicitly clear where the line is in the middle. However, AEO targets the format. So like I said, you're structuring content to be easily extracted as a direct answer. So you can think of it as AEO is your answer, and then GEO is your source. So you're targeting the trust, establishing authority, like what we said earlier. So yeah, while AEO handles the what, the GEO handles the why. So this is linking to SEO. These are going to be components of SEO as well. It's kind of come to the full umbrella term. You think back to the butterfly earlier. These are just one aspect of SEO going forward. They're all going to link in together. You're not going to be looking at AEO just in its own singular component. It's going to be working with GEO and with SEO. So you want them to be having good content that can be used as an answer. And if it's optimized, you'll then be ranked for all these search engines on social channels. So how does search behavior impact AI usage? So you're not necessarily going to be ranked for AI just because you've got a good answer on your page or just because you've got a strong use of keywords. There are different types of queries that will mean you'll be ranked on different things. So if you have a high chance of being ranked in AI overview, it's likely to be if you've got answers to a complex question. So if it's a conversational question, or if people are asking about multiple topics, or if the question's starting with like a what is or a why, you're more likely to have your answer cited if you're answering one of those types of questions. Whereas if your content's answering queries that are more navigational or more transactional, you're less likely to be appearing in AI overview, because that's not the sort of content it's looking for. The AI overviews are looking for quick answers. They're looking for convenience for the user. So if you don't have the sort of content that would be convenient for a user to give an answer for, it's not going to appear. It isn't necessarily a bad thing, because based on that logic, your competitors wouldn't appear either. Like, you often wouldn't get that sort of content there, full stop. Maybe your industry is not that suited to appear in an AI overview. Maybe you can find aspects that would be suited. So if you're baking, for example, and you want a recipe, you can ask, how do you cook a sausage roll? And you're likely to appear in an AI overview because you're asking a specific question that can generate a specific answer. Whereas if you're asking where you can buy ingredients from, you're less likely to appear in an AI overview, because it's more likely to appear in ads instead, as it's a less clear-cut answer. So that's kind of giving a bit of insight into this. There's not definitive, like I said, lines yet between what means you qualify to be ranked for AI overviews or not. It's just a little bit early days for that now to see what Google deems as suitable for that. But currently in the research we've done, this is what is looking most likely. So they're just wanting the quick answers, really. So this is how AI is interacting with user behavior. So the first aim is to satisfy intent instantly, which is what I've been saying earlier, is you're looking for the quickest way to get information. So AI's goal is to synthesize information from across websites into one single cohesive answer. Like I said, you're looking for convenience. People have convenience nowadays, and that is the priority of AI. This can be done through prioritizing structure. So if you have clear structure on your website, if you've got clear FAQs, it's very easy for AI to go onto your website and to realize that you've got the answer that it needs and to pick it out and to cite it onto an overview. This also links into authority. Like I said, if you've got a site that's very credible and trusted by Google, they're more likely to rank you for SEO anyway. You're more likely to then be ranked for an AI overview answer, because you're more likely to be a trusted source, and AI wants it to be an accurate information. And development that has been noticed from the shift of SEO into more AI-focused SEO is how citations becoming more of a goal over clicks. So generally in SEO, aiming to get high clicks and high leads. You want people to come to your site to read your content and to look around your site, whereas now you're aiming to be cited onto an AI platform. So the goal shifts from earning a click to becoming cited into an AI summary. Now, like a lot of the previous strategies I've mentioned, it's not a one or the other. You're kind of aiming to do both in tandem. You don't want to completely ignore clicks. You still want to have traffic through to your website. But if you've got strong SEO and strong AEO and GEO, you're also likely to have them all to work together. And you can get cited, and therefore you might get clicks through as well. It's not one or the other. So this is a little bit like what I mentioned earlier. So it's a phenomenon I read about in research called the Great Decoupling. So this is about how you're getting less clicks but more impressions on your website. Like I said, this is not necessarily a negative thing. It doesn't mean you're a competitive disadvantage to other people you're trying to compete against, because everybody's in the same boat here. So you don't need to panic about this. This is not you personally not performing well. It's basically, like I said, if you're searching for something and it comes in AI overview, you're less likely to go and click through to a site because you get the information you need immediately. So websites are experiencing a decline in traffic. So even though your rankings are stable or really strong, it's a bit of a decline because AI overviews are kind of replacing the need to come through to your site. It's still a positive thing because you're still getting out there, you're still getting brand awareness, people are still seeing where it's coming from and you're getting cited. But it's helpful to know about this, because if you see your clicks and click-through rate drop suddenly as AI increases, you don't need to immediately panic. you should notice that impressions do increase, and if they don't, then maybe you need to reconsider your SEO strategy in general, because that might be a bigger issue there. But if you're seeing a clear link between impressions increasing, clicks decreasing, then this is likely an explanation as to why. Yeah, so if you focus on SEO and GEO, you're likely to become visible and stay invisible in this environment. Like I said, you need to use everything together to maintain visibility. Because if your rankings are strong, then you should still be appearing at the top of the page. So if people did want to click through from AI overview, then you will still be in top position for a user to go there further. So tracking your AI presence. This is something we're asked about a lot by clients and by people, about how can you see your AI presence? Can you see where you are? What's currently available in terms of tools and platforms? It's very new, so it's not yet fully developed. I'm going to talk through a couple of platforms that have kind of jumped on this bandwagon for now, but it's very early days in all of them. They're all very new. So we're trying to keep ready for when they release full tools and tracking functionalities. So Google Search Console, this was something that AI suggested when I asked it how we can see our presence. We have tried it internally and not yet found a way for it to work. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. We're just struggling to make it clear. But you're basically looking for a spike in impressions with flat click signals. So you're basically looking for where you've got visibility but without the clicks. So this is a little bit difficult to tell. You can't categorically tell if it is from an AI overview or if it's just from a featured snippet. So it's not explicitly the most accurate information, but it could potentially in the future give you a little bit more of an insight as to whether you're getting clicks and visibility or one or the other. And then to GA4, you can currently see if your traffic is coming from ChatGPT. You can filter it in your traffic source. So you can see that as a functionality. We've not yet seen it mention any of the AI platforms. We've not yet seen it mention Gemini, but it doesn't mean that it can't. It's just currently not something we've seen. Like I said, it's very early days for the tracking aspect of it because AI itself is still developing. So this is just kind of what we noticed kind of becoming over time. It's quite likely that we expect that Search Console and GA4, so which is Google Analytics, will have their own specialized reports in future. We expect that to happen. It's not yet available, but we see it happening in the future. And then Google Tag Manager is similar to the Search Console, where it's loosely done. It's not concrete information, but they do say you can add a tag onto it to detect the unique URL fragment, and that should help you to see if it's come from AI overview. That's another option. And there's something we've been looking into internally is SEMrush, which is what we use to monitor SEO rankings, keywords, everything as a platform. They have released an AI tool. We've been getting set up with it internally. It should be quite good for everyone to use once it's developed. It's still quite early doors. A few months ago, it was only available in America, and they are adding to it on an almost daily basis as to what you can do. So that's going to help you to compare where you are to your competitors in AI. It's going to show you where you're appearing for. It's going to show you what queries you're ranking for. So that's something to keep an eye on for the future. But we've got our eyes on that, and like I said, we're going to test that internally. So once we've kind of got that rolling out, we can, if anyone's interested, just let us know and we can get you set up on that as well.
Yeah, the SEM, the SEMrush option, like the first three are kind of more of those kind of lagging indicators, aren't they? Where they're kind of showing you what's happened, where SEMrush is more predicting your visibility in those spaces, even if people aren't necessarily searching for them. So I think that's why it's an interesting tool, isn't it, to predict kind of, and also then potentially show results from the efforts you're making in your SEO, so you can predict what change you're making, how it's affecting your visibility, I guess.
Yeah, it should help you to better monitor kind of if you make changes monthly, month on month, you can see if it makes an impact. Like I said, it's quite useful. Obviously, SEO is a bit of a longer game, so it's quite useful to have it to monitor over time and visibility if your change is making any impact. But yeah, it should be quite a good predictive tool.
Once like again,
yeah. So yeah, this is kind of where we're at in terms of the future of AI tracking. This is kind of what we expect to happen. Kind of mentioned it just then, but we expect GA4 Google Analytics to start having a dedicated channel for tracking AI overviews. or even just specifically for Gemini, we see this as having a functionality. In the future, also a share of a SERP presence. So a SERP is a search engine results page, metrics. So we do wonder as well whether tools might provide new KPIs like share of AI answer box and the brand mention score to track influence, not just clicks. So there's a chance that platforms themselves might start releasing analytics and tracking facilities, in which case we'll have a look into those and see how effective they are. And then going back to the SEMrush cross-platform visibility tools. So SEMrush and other platforms might be having that sort of thing. On the right-hand side, you can see on the picture, that is from SEMrush. So that is currently what they have in the AI visibility tool. As you can see, when I said it's still new, at the bottom beneath boost and monitor, growth actions is not even out yet. It's coming soon. And we only had 2 sections of this a few weeks ago, and it's like I said, they're adding to it on it seems like a daily basis, so they're really working hard to get this released and pushed, so we'll keep our eyes peeled on that.
Cool, brilliant.
Thank
you very much. Yes, thank you, Madeline. So the next thing I wanted to kind of talk about was something else that's on the horizon. Obviously, a lot of AI talk is usually talking about what's potentially coming in the future, because it's changing on a daily basis. So I guess kind of wanted to cover the concept of how tools like ChatGPT want to replace your website, and I felt this was a fitting kind of topic to cover in an SEO talk, because ultimately one of the core goals for us is to drive more traffic to our site. From an SEO perspective, but what actually if ChatGPT is trying to replace your site. So I just wanted to kind of briefly cover that sort of section. So sort of AI and large language models like ChatGPT, they want to move from the web, which is kind of traditionally over the last kind of decade, 20 odd years or so, has been kind of search and then click something. It has very kind of search and click, but they want to move to this kind of ask and do. So ask and do, large language models wants to keep you in that chat experience. So think of kind of your chat bots and ChatGPT more when akin to social platforms rather than necessarily search engines. They want to keep you in that experience just as much as Facebook did back in the day, sort of thing. And the more they keep you in the experience, the more data they can collect, the more they can kind of keep you working with them. And so one of the ways they're thinking of doing this is they want to become the place where your members, so users generally, but in your case, your members can take action. They can actually take action from directly within that chat experience. So, and they've introduced something called GPT Actions. So ChatGPT is trialing actions. It's currently only in the US and maybe a few other territories, but definitely not in the UK yet. And this allows organizations like yours to expose effectively what they're calling actions, which can be called from within the chat experience. So in your cases, the examples of actions may be can you contact this association to ask them for support in my membership? Can you submit my membership application for the membership, sort of thing. So traditionally these are things that are on your website, forms, things you'd sign up to, but they're trying to bring those kind of requests and those actions into the chat experience. So I'm just going to briefly kind of explain how they're going to achieve that without going too in depth. But so let's say a member wants to cancel their membership. Obviously, no one wants that situation, but let's say they were in the chat experience and they were like, they want to tell their AI assistant, they want to tell chat, I want to cancel my membership. So that would be kind of step one. Step two would be where a tool like ChatGPT would be aware of something called an API. So APIs are effectively a way for two systems to talk to each other. We don't need to go too much into the detail of that just yet, but just know that it's a way for two systems to talk to each other. So ChatGPT could talk to your internal systems, your membership portals, your kind of association management systems, and so they can talk. They would pass that request via an API to kind of what we see as step 3 here, which is that to produce an action, to perform an action, they would do, and then they would return that action back to the chat experience. They would do. So hopefully you can see there's that kind of initial request from directly within chat to be able to make that request all the way down into your own data and then send it back. So they don't need to even come to your website. So this is kind of something that is kind of predicted on the horizon, isn't necessarily here today. But that's definitely a space where you might see an impact, and we just kind of wanted to communicate and just be aware of the possibility of that. You may be thinking, kind of, why would members want this? Why would anyone want to just stay in chat and not visit your website, your beautiful website? And I guess for me, it's kind of, if Amazon has taught us anything, people prefer convenience and efficiency over most other things. So AI is already embedding itself in everything from your sophisticated reporting tools all the way down to the washing machine. Washing machines have AI capability nowadays. They do. And so to be able to use AI to complete tasks is, and will probably still always be, one of the key goals for general users. People are looking for convenience. We're all kind of waiting for that robot to come into our homes to do all the daily chores. They are. So that's kind of that was the dream we were sold with the likes of AI and automation and assistance. And that's why people might latch onto this kind of concept. They might do. You might want to do it in your own personal lives, in the sense of just being able to, can you tell my school that I'm going to be late today or whatever. So there's lots of different usages for kind of these assistants and automation. And just how can you get ahead on this? Again, this is a little bit speculative at the moment, even though the tools are out there in the US. So just talk to a tech partner, or talk with us. We've got capability in-house to talk about this. Just see if you're prepared for this possible future. Have you got APIs? What you probably will have already in this technical systems you're using. And then something that I just kind of wanted to mention here is start looking at your own custom GPT. So ChatGPT has this concept of custom GPTs, where you can train it on your own kind of information, obviously data security and all that sort of stuff, but even that public information, so people can interact with your membership, with your kind of offering through chat directly. So it could be we could produce a whole webinar on custom GPTs, but if you are interested, if you're thinking about that, these are definitely two areas I would probably start thinking about and looking into. And the future of SEO. So next kind of future of SEO and how AI will affect it is, for me, and kind of for us, we think, so the future of SEO is, hopefully you kind of got from today and what Madeline's already been talking about, it's higher quality SEO. It's continuing working on that quality. It is. So SEO is no longer just about driving organic traffic to your site. It's if it ever was just about that, but that's always one of the key things. It's also about becoming the trusted resource for AI. So AI can reference that information. AI can use you and cite you as the resource. So no more of these kind of short keyword-rich posts or top 10 tips type post, which has probably been a bit of a bane of SEO for the last maybe decade or so. People know that that's a way of getting ranked. It is actually AI kind of, and as Madeline was talking earlier, it understands the context a lot more now. It wants you to the information you put in there is something you really understand and is trustworthy. So yeah, those types of posts hopefully kind of won't be as useful going forward. And just become that definitive and confident in answering the questions that your organization, your association will solve. So, and then just, yeah, and as Madeline said earlier, just continue using that Google kind of EAT methodology, is be that authority in your space and really push for authority in what you do. Now, the great news is, from a membership and a trade association perspective, is actually that's something that you've all been working towards probably for decades. Is the key to being that association is to have the authority in that space. So I think in some ways you're already a step or two ahead in compared to other kind of sectors and industries. So yeah, I think you're in a really good starting point from that authority piece. It is, but maybe there's some technical side to really ensure you're delivering on that. As Madeline's talked about, kind of traffic down doesn't mean demand is going to be down. It doesn't. So AI may reduce traffic on your what is articles, your glossary pages, your basic frequently asked question pages. So it's going to maybe reduce traffic on those. It doesn't mean they're not important, because those content still needs to be there. But you may just physically get less clicks through to those because they're being surfaced earlier in the user journey before they hit your site. But visitors who do click through are going to be much more informed. They're going to be further down that funnel of whether they need they're going to take any kind of action with yourselves, and then there's a higher conversion potential. So yeah, don't necessarily see it as Madeline's already mentioned, as a negative that you're getting less click throughs, but actually, as long as the people are still reading your content, and when they do click through, that action they take will be more likely kind of. So yeah, so ultimately, quality over quantity is still going back to kind of what's the core of good SEO is. We still need to focus on quality over quantity. And that kind of SEO, the new SEO stack, I guess, is kind of the new way of working in SEO. Is schema, structured data become even more important, as Madeline's mentioned. That long form evergreen content becomes that defensible asset. Again, put the time into real long form, really researched articles, information, get it out there. Obviously, you've got your wealth of information, usually in the association space. So get that out there and making sure so AI can cite that information. UX brand trust and relevance matter just as much as keywords. And then your association management systems and websites need to expose clean, structured data for AI consumption. So just doing the right things, I guess, is the future. Going back to the original poll question, how important do you think your website is? For me and for us, we think it's just going to be more important. It's a key place to share. Your website will not only be placed for your members to seek value from, but it will feed the AI and it will feed language models with the key information and that they need to serve to those members in the chat experience. Ultimately, these tools are still built on the information you provide. And yes, it can feel a little bit painful that you're creating information that people are reading, but not coming to your website and reading. But ultimately, is it, well, I guess you can judge this for yourself, but is it still better that they're still seeing you as that trusted source, even if they're not coming to your website first? But that doesn't mean they won't come to your website later. So for us, I think your website is even more important because it's that public facing kind of tool that AI is going to interact with and send them to when when they're ready. And so, yeah, you just need to evolve that SEO strategy. So next, kind of the final point on today is around that first step. So if you're looking, if you're seeing all this, and what should you do? How do you start this journey in making sure your SEO strategy is ready for AI? So if someone came to us tomorrow and said, like, we're not sure what to do first, how do we start this? For us, it would be based on that content audit. It'd be looking at your website, auditing the whole website, auditing the content. Again, some of your sites will be many, many, many years old and have lots of articles on there. I would definitely go through, do a content audit, replace or remove content that doesn't serve this drive to definitive and confident answers, or doesn't show that you're a trusted and authoritative organization in your space. Anything that's kind of you might see as some filler content, or you may just merge some content together. Focus on that content audit. Ensure you have a comprehensive frequently asked questions solution. I've used the word solution there rather than page. I'm not saying you should have one page with 1,000 frequently asked questions on it. I don't think that's a great user experience for anybody and probably wouldn't work that well. But that solution where you're kind of distributing these frequently asked questions in the right areas. And then just review gaps in your data schema and your structured content. So look at it from a technical point of view, your content, and really see if there's any gaps there that need fulfilling. Very close second to this was the tracking side of things, but because that is still up in the air, but I'd still definitely recommend taking some of the things Madeline's already said around all the different tools you could use currently and SEMrush going forward. I would say that definitely a close second, just to make sure that is in place, because then you know the stuff you're changing, what impact it's having. But even if you weren't tracking that, it's still a good idea to focus on that content and make sure it's fit for purpose going forward. That's the end of today's presentation. Thank you very much for listening to us. We do have a few questions already in the chat, so thank you very much, but very welcome for any more questions that might pop up. So I'll kind of go through that. The first question. So the first question is from Jane. Jane is asking, how can you track AI citations? I don't know, Madeline, if you have any thoughts on that? Or...
Yeah, so kind of covered it a little bit with the SEMrush, but it's kind of quite difficult to see right now if you're being cited or not. Like we said, it's a little bit early days for the tracking. SEMrush has announced it. It's kind of teased it, saying it's coming soon. It's not something you can categorically see just yet. You can't see, for concrete if you're on it or not. So you kind of need to just maybe wait a little bit, see if SEMrush releases it. You can, like I said, see if you have Google Analytics, you can see if you're getting traffic through ChatGPT. That can give you a little bit of indication of visible. We've had clients before who've actually just searched queries they want to appear for and see if they do appear for AI. Just kind of test it yourself, pretend you're the user. But for now, it's a little bit of a waiting game, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And just to add to that, I guess exactly that. So SEMrush is they are kind of allowing you to. One of the concepts they're doing is we're allowing you to have a fixed prompt and then it just keeps running that prompt and seeing if you're getting cited in that prompt. That's kind of one of the aims, and so measuring the citation there. And yeah, I can imagine, as Madeline said, is those new tools, GA4 and other kind of search console. I'd imagine in the future they are. At the moment, it shows obviously impressions. You'd hope in the future they would have maybe citations against your domain, against maybe even certain pages. So yeah, it feels like an obvious place for them to go. Probably still working out themselves. So yeah, definitely future. Thank you. Next question is around from Susie. If AI steals our clicks, why keep creating content?
So the shift recently has been from traffic volume to brand influencer citations with AI. So you should keep creating content because you're not just stopping completely trying to generate clicks. You're still trying to generate clicks as well, but also citations. So as I mentioned earlier, you're trying to get really strong content and then you will get cited by AI. So AI is not necessarily stealing your clicks. That's not really the case of it. It's not stealing them at all. Think of it as you're redirecting them. You're adding the AI as the middleman in between the user from going straight to your site. Like Chris said, they're likely to see an AI overview from you. Doesn't mean they're never going to come to your website. It means they might still come to your website. Quite likely they would, but maybe later down the funnel, which makes it better really, because they're more likely to be high quality traffic suited to you. So you're more likely to convert at that point. So they're not stealing the clicks at all. It's just increasing impressions for now. Like I said, it's adding almost like a little redirect in the middle of that. There's nothing to be concerned about.
Yeah, and again, to add to that, I think it's always been the case that anyone you're selling to or trying to convince, there's a research phase. There is of that, and this is just the AI is probably stealing a little bit of that research phase inside their own experience through AI overviews or through chat experiences. But that bit hasn't changed, I guess. So, like as you say, there's still an element. It's just moving the research phase out of your website, but it's still being cited, but then it's still going to move through to your website. So yeah, so it's maybe stealing some of those research clicks, but not necessarily the action, the conversion clicks. So thank you. Next question is from Rachel. How can we compete with AI generated spam? Obviously, creating content, people are creating 1,000 documents a day. So yeah, how do we compete against that, or is that a problem?
So the main aim here is for information gains. Your aim is to have original data, original ideas, authentic writing. It's getting harder for us to differentiate as people and users what's AI and what's not. But Google and the bots are quite clued up on that. They're able to tell if something's been copy and pasted across 10 different sites. They'll be able to pick up on that and the duplicated content. So if your content is really well written, it's original, it's authentic to your site, they'll notice that, and that will reflect well in how you're ranking compared to spam. Spam will always be an issue to an extent in digital marketing. It's not a new thing with AI. It's a new area of spam being AI generated, but it's nothing that should cause great concern. Like I said, if you've got strong original content, you should be outranking it anyway, because Google will pick up on the spam.
Brilliant, thank you. And final question for now, unless another one gets dropped in, is from Gary. Should we optimize for answer engines instead of keywords?
So I think I kind of said a little bit earlier, but it's kind of the best idea in terms of answer engines and SEO is to synthesize everything. So you don't want to be focusing on just getting cited for AI or just ranking for SEO. You want to be looking at it as one comprehensive strategy. So keywords should not be ignored. You should not stop doing keyword research. They're really useful. It's really good to see what keywords you're ranking for. This will also help to inform what queries you want to rank for AI, so they can work completely interchangeably. It'll be really useful to keep monitoring this. I also think it's useful to note your keywords over time. You might find that some perform not as well as they used to, and maybe new terms have come to light with AI. Maybe people search for things in a different way anymore. So yeah, you need to look at both and keep both in the forefront of your mind. I know it's a bit of a juggling act now, but we definitely think it's very important to not neglect traditional SEO whilst the newer aspect comes forward.
Yeah, and I guess there is an element of fear in some ways about kind of AI, and you hear what you see all these articles and videos about AI is taking over the world, but when you look at the data, you're still getting a lot of traffic through traditional SEO methods. I'm not saying that won't change. Obviously, there's a lot of conversation today about that, but it isn't a case of like, yeah, we shouldn't stop kind of focusing on the core elements of SEO, because they are feeding in, which hopefully most people have picked up from today, is that traditional SEO is just as important. It is, but keeping an eye on that future. So thank you very much. Brilliant. That's the last question. Thank you very much. So this is our last series webinar of the year. We've done a kind of couple. We're going to share links to all of those and put those on our website as well. We have a new series coming in 2026. We'll kind of share more details and send emails that in the next couple of weeks, so probably early January. So thank you very much, everybody, for those that have joined. I know some have kind of joined every single one, but we'll share the links if you want to catch up on the previous ones. So thank you. Just a few tools, benchmarking your member recruitment score. If you want, we'll share this kind of link out later. If you want to kind of have a quick chat about anything membership growth wise, whether it's SEO, paid, even down to your web portals and platforms. And then Member Metrics is a real great kind of member engagement tracking tool using AI insights into that engagement. And so really kind of focus and spot those kind of issues in the value that your members are getting from you. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for joining those that I have today. And yes, have a good Christmas, and we'll see you next year.
Thank you, everyone.
Cheers. Bye-bye.